Hello everyone, PDF here, and today we are going to be making a reasonably easy to build, simple to use witch farm here in Bedrock Minecraft. As always, a materials list will be in the description below, so let's get started. Step 1 is going to be finding yourself one of these, a witch hut. Step 2 will be relocating the local resident, so that way we can come in here and do some things. We are going to get rid of some of this structure here, not all of it. I'm going to leave the walls in place, but I will take some planks and fill in the holes. We want it to be dark in here ultimately. Next, we'll take our glass panes, and we are going to fill in the interior with the glass panes. Then we'll block off our little door here, and we will go 24-ish blocks away. I'm going to go that way. And then we will just give ourselves a couple of moments here. And ta-da! We have a new resident. And we'll just open up the front here. Now we will get rid of some, not all of the glass blocks. We want to keep our witchy friend contained here. Next thing we're going to need to do is I'm going to grab a pumpkin because we need to know which direction is northwest. And as we know, pumpkin stem always points northwest. So that direction. Right. And the reason we need northwest is because mobs spawn on the northwest corner of a block. So that little corner up there. So we know this is the spawn spot right here. So I'm going to mark that with a block of concrete, but you can use any other distinguishing block you want. One quick spray of Witch Begone. And now that the local resident is no longer here again, we'll get rid of the glass. Now we want to take out these 3 blocks here. So this is our spawn block. Boop, boop, boop. Now the basement looks a little damp, so we may have to do a little waterproofing here quick first. I am going to put some blocks in between the legs of our witch hut here to give myself a little bit of room to work with. And we're just going to fill this in. And I'll give myself a little bit of room for future here. We are going to need to make a storage area at some point. So now that it's not so damp down here, we want to make sure we have 1 block of space between this level here and the spawn block, which we do. I'm going to put 3 orange blocks because later on these are going to be magma blocks. So that's just kind of to remind me to put them there. Now we need to get ourselves under this little area here. We're going to build our little storage thing. I'm going to go 1 block further. Gives me just a little bit more room. Okay, so now we're going to take our double chest, but it can be whatever storage option you want. You could hook it up to a item sorter, big storage system. It could be a barrel. I'm just using a double chest. And we'll put our hoppers in like this. Next, we're going to take our fences, put them in that corner and this corner. And we will get rid of those 2 blocks temporarily. Place our rail down in our minecart, and we'll get rid of the rail because we need to maneuver our upper minecart here. So it is right in that corner. And we'll put those back. We need to cover this up, obviously, so the minecart doesn't just roll around. I'm going to use glass blocks, but stairs would work just as well. Okay, that's the collection system complete. Next, we are going to kind of surround this little platform with blocks. And we will come back up to jump down here. And we're going to give ourselves a little bit of room to work with because we're going to make our Trident Killer next. And I'll be using Trident Killer design number 1 for my Trident Killer video, which you can watch here. So first we're going to need to place our pistons. Boop, 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 and boop. Now we'll fill in with some solid blocks and give ourselves just a smidge more room. Repeater, 2 ticks, observer, solid block, dropper, repeater, solid block, dropper, observer, solid block, dropper, observer, solid block. Next we'll take our lever and put it on our dropper here. We will flick it once. And that kind of primes it. And now if we flip it again, that should turn it on. And flip again to turn it off. So we now have a working Trident Killer. Sort of. We still got to put the Trident in, but we'll get to that. Alright, so cleaning up a tiny bit here, I'm going to grab our slabs. And we're going to take our slabs and we'll go boop, boop, boop. Now we need to add some additional walls. What we're going to do here, though, is we're going to take our glass block and put it in this spot. We want an empty space right above that and a glass block. That way when the witches spawn, this will pop them down into our blender here. Now the next step is going to be very important. We're going to come down back to the bottom for a moment. And above each piston, we need a solid block. And then I'm going to put on this one a slab to spawn proof it. But each piston needs a solid block behind it for this to work. Pistons are semi-transparent, meaning they'll let light in. And witches need a light level of 0 to work because they're considered cave spawns. So any light, they won't spawn. So solid block behind it. or tinted glass will work just fine. Next, what I'm going to do is replace some of these solid blocks with slabs, just to spawn proof, to make sure the witches don't have anywhere else to spawn except that one spot we want them to, or any other mob for that matter. We don't need zombies or anything else spawning in. More of a pain, really. So now that's all set. We'll come back up to the top here. We will temporarily break this block so we can get down. And next, we are going to replace our 3 orange concrete blocks with the magma blocks. Now we're going to waterlog these pistons. Since we put the solid block behind them, they should be all set anyways. Put our concrete block back. Now we will throw our pointy fork of doom in here. And we won't quite seal it up yet. We don't want them to start spawning just yet. We do have a few more spots to spawn proof. We're going to leave this spot without a slab because we're going to take our scaffolding now. And we need to go up 40 blocks. So Y level 106. So I'll see you up there in just a moment. Alright, so one thing I did forget to do is mark which block this is. Because we need to know which block this is. So the easiest way is look up. And we're going to break that because we're going to need to mark that with a special block later. So we are at these coordinates here, and we will replace that glass block. Now we will come up to the roof, and we're going to slab off the rest of the roof. We're going to leave that open spot till last. What I like to do is put a special different color slab there, just so I know that's the spawn block. I'll go with a smooth stone slab. Now we'll go back up to the top. And we need to get ourselves right over that spot. And I make the platform, this is going to be our AFK platform. I make it out of glass, and I like to just use a special color for the middle there, just so I know that's the middle. Okay, now I'm going to make a roof so that way we don't get phantoms bugging us. One quick note. Now, I know I said that witches need 0 light to spawn, and as far as I'm aware, they do. It's what the wiki says, it's what some of my testing has shown. While, in between takes here, actually had a couple witches spawn in there with above 0 light level. Take that for what you will, but as far as I know, it needs to be 0, but just be aware they could potentially spawn, and that would not be good if you're down there working, so just keep that in mind. The other thing I like to do is just throw a torch, just so that way there's a light source there. We'll come back down to the bottom, however you want to get down. And now we can block this off, and that is it. Our witch farm is all set. What we're going to do now is we're going to test it. So we will take our trusty looting 3 sword. You do have a looting 3 sword, right? Right? Flip the switch, go on up to our spot. The reason I left this colored glass is because we need to stand directly over that spot for this to work. A lot of the information that you've seen me use, I have gotten from watching various tutorials and information on the wiki and other stuff. But this looks familiar because a lot of this is based off of a older witch farm of Silent Whispers, who I will have linked in the description below. Still a good farm as far as I know. Now, one thing you may notice is that we didn't make a 2-layer of water. In his design, he did that so that way you'd be getting water breathing potions. In my testing, I don't know if something has changed. What would happen was the witches would fall in the water, and then they would just get pushed around. They wouldn't take any damage because they drink fire resistance, so the magma blocks wouldn't hurt them. But yeah, the Trident wouldn't actually damage them for some reason. They just go around in a circle. I don't know if having the second layer of water had anything to do with it. I just know that since I've only had that 1 layer, not a problem I've had. Again, just something to keep in mind. So now we're going to stay up here. I'll give it about 10 minutes and then we'll go down and see what goodies we have. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's take a look and see what we got. And after 10 minutes, this is what we have. A pretty good amount of all sorts of goodies. We've got glowstone, potions of healing, sticks, redstone, sugar, and of course gunpowder, and even some potions of fire resistance. These come in handy if you haven't done a ton of exploring in the nether yet because you're waiting till you can actually, get some more. If you've got some quartz to make the other bits though, very easy way to get some of these. But you know what the best loot that we get out of this is? You hitting that like button if you're enjoying this video, and subscribing if you want to see more. Shameless plug. Want to see more content? Check this video out up here. Catch you next time.